I see your heart brimming with anticipation as the day of Christmas draws near. Even now, the world seems filled with an expectant hush, an undercurrent of awe that signals something wondrous is about to happen. Though time rushes forward and your tasks pile high, I invite you to pause and reflect on the miracle unfolding. I, the Eternal and Almighty One, drew near to humanity in a humble birth. This is more than a story told each December. It is a living reality that beckons you closer to my heart. Every year around this sacred season, I stir hope within you, reminding you that light truly can pierce even the darkest corner. I have watched over you from the moment I conceived your existence. Though your life has taken twists and turns, I have remained ever present, guiding you through triumph and trial. In the flurry of preparations that come with Christmas celebrations, do not forget the deeper meaning of these days. I arrived in human form to understand your struggles and to offer you a love that surpasses all you have known. Let that truth be a steady anchor in your spirit when doubts arise or when you feel weighed down by the cares of the world. I know that worry often clouds your thoughts, especially when you face uncertainty. You wonder if you have enough strength, wisdom, or faith for what tomorrow brings. But I want you to know that you are not alone. I stand beside you as a faithful companion, ready to carry your burdens when they become too heavy. Do not let fear convince you that you must face life's storms on your own. Rest in my power and realize that I have already charted a path through every challenge. If you look carefully, you will see signs of my guidance, subtle reminders that you are cherished, protected, and deeply known. This season of Christmas serves as a vivid reminder that I, in all my majesty, chose to take on flesh, stepping into time and space to walk among you. I became vulnerable so you could see my heart more clearly. When you feel that no one understands your anguish, remember the manger and the life that followed. I endured both rejoicing and sorrow, friendship and betrayal, so there is no wound of yours I cannot heal. Bring me your regrets, your hidden pain, and your lingering questions. In my hands, these are not obstacles but openings, places where I can pour out mercy, grace, and a renewed vision for your life. Let gratitude be the melody of your soul. Even when struggles persist, there is much to be thankful for: the warmth of loved ones, the gift of each breath, and the promise that I am making all things new. If you hold on to gratitude, your perspective begins to change. Worries loosen their grip, and joy finds room to blossom. In these moments of sincere thankfulness, you draw nearer to me, aligning your heart with my goodness. That alignment carries a quiet power, capable of soothing restless minds and opening doors of possibility you never imagined. I do not want you to be overwhelmed by rituals or expectations that sometimes overshadow the true essence of this sacred time. Let every tradition point back to the reality of my love made manifest. Whether you celebrate in bustling gatherings or in quiet reflection, the heart of the matter remains. I came close so you might experience abundant life. I desire authenticity more than perfection, and I treasure your honest prayers over polished routines. When your heart is open, I will speak peace and purpose into the core of your being. Remember also that you are not just receivers of love, but bearers of it. I have placed my light within you, empowering you to bring hope and compassion to the world around you. Even small acts of kindness can ripple outward, touching lives you may never meet. As you let my love flow through you, you become part of the nativity story, a living testimony that my arrival has ongoing impact. By serving, forgiving, and extending grace, you shine my light into places overshadowed by despair. I invite you to keep your eyes on me as the moment of Christmas draws closer. Let wonder and reverence fill your spirit rather than haste or anxiety. Expect that I will speak to you, not through thunderous displays, but in gentle whispers and quiet miracles woven into the fabric of your daily life. When you take time to notice, you will realize that my presence is all around, illuminating even the simplest tasks with divine significance. This season, more than any other, is your reminder that I am with you, Emmanuel, ever by your side. So let your heart be filled with hope. Let it be lifted by the knowledge that no darkness can extinguish the light I bring. In my birth, you see not just a baby in a manger, but the boundless love of a God who refuses to stay distant. Let that love guide your thoughts and actions, inspiring you to live in a way that honors the depth of this gift. Embrace the peace I offer, trusting that my plans for you are good, that I hold your future with wisdom and care. As Christmas Day approaches, may you rest in the certainty that I came for you, and I remain for you, today and forever. I see your heart growing more expectant with each passing day, as if something sacred is drawing nearer. Even the atmosphere carries a certain hush, hinting at a profound event on the horizon. There is a sense that all of creation is leaning forward, awaiting the moment when hearts unite in reflection on what truly matters. In this precious interval, I invite you to slow down, to pause the rush of routine, and to look inward with honesty and hope. You stand on the threshold of a celebration that spans centuries, one that calls every generation to remember the transforming power of my love. In the midst of life's busyness, it can be easy to lose sight of why this season holds so much promise. Preparations might occupy your mind, gatherings to plan, gifts to wrap, and traditions to uphold. These details have their place, but they are meant to serve a far deeper purpose. Let them point to a greater reality. I came into the world to restore the relationship between humanity and the divine. When you remember this, every decoration, every shared meal, and every act of kindness becomes a gesture of worship, a way of honoring my arrival among you. This time is also one of honest reflection. I know that not every day glows with untroubled joy. There are hearts that ache, circumstances that strain hope, and memories that stir both laughter and tears. Yet I want you to understand that my compassion holds all of these feelings in tender embrace. As the day approaches when you commemorate my coming, let any sorrow you carry serve as an invitation to draw closer to me. My presence is strong enough to bear your grief, and my spirit is gentle enough to soothe your pain. I came so that no darkness would remain unchallenged. No wound would be left without the promise of healing. In the quiet moments you set aside, invite me to speak to your heart. I am not far off, nor am I silent. Through stirring reflections, through the words of Scripture, and through unexpected moments of clarity, I will remind you that I am with you. Listen for my voice in acts of compassion, both given and received. Notice how kindness can disarm frustration, how forgiveness can dismantle bitterness. As you align yourself with these virtues, you align yourself with me. They are signs of my kingdom, breaking through the ordinary to reveal eternal truth. Anticipation can be beautiful when it is guided by faith rather than anxiety. Instead of letting your mind spin on what might go wrong, focus on the certainty that my love remains unshakable. If you open your heart to trust and surrender, I will show you how to transform uncertainty into a deeper reliance on my grace. My promise is unwavering. I am your anchor, and I will not leave you adrift. Each passing day is an opportunity to grow in confidence, knowing that the one who arrived in humble circumstances is fully capable of carrying you through your own challenges. As you near the celebration of this momentous season, let the anticipation itself draw you closer to my heart. Let the anticipation lead you to prayer, to gratitude, and to the reassurance that I am actively at work in your life. In the end, this is what the approaching day truly represents. Hope manifesting in human form, mercy bending low to lift you up. Let this promise guide your thoughts, soften your heart, and fill you with a profound sense of peace that lasts long after the festivities conclude. I came for you, and I remain with you, now and forever. I want you to grasp the depth and wonder of the mystery unfolding in this season. At the heart of this celebration lies an astonishing truth. I, the Infinite One, chose to become fully human while remaining fully divine. It is a reality that defies simple explanation, yet it beckons you to draw closer, to marvel at the lengths I went to in order to bridge the divide between heaven and earth. Though I hold every galaxy in my hands, I willingly entered your world in the most humble manner, embracing the frailty of human form so you could know me not just as all-powerful, but also as one who understands every nuance of your life. Think about how easily I could have come with thunder and might, commanding awe from a distance. Yet I chose to be born in a simple setting, to grow up among people who struggled and hoped, who felt joy and sorrow. This was no accident. I wanted you to see that my love is never aloof. It is personal, compassionate, and attentive to the smallest details of your existence. Because I took on flesh, I experienced hunger, fatigue, and even heartbreak. I knew the sting of rejection and the warmth of true friendship. Therefore, you can be absolutely certain that I understand you, your triumphs as well as your tears, because I have walked among you. Perhaps this paradox, God becoming human, has raised questions in your heart. How can I, in all my majesty, fit into the constraints of a mortal body? Why would I place myself in a vulnerable position when I could remain above all things? Let these questions lead you to wonder, rather than confusion. Love, when it is genuine and boundless, does not stand aloof. It steps into the story, it shares the burden, and it embraces the frailty of another. I did this so that you would never again question whether I care about your pain. In my arrival, I made it clear that no distance was too great, no barrier too formidable to keep me away from you. If you reflect on my life during those years on earth, you will see both my power and my humanity at work in harmony. I performed miracles to reveal my divine authority, yet I also wept at a friend's grave, showing my genuine sorrow. I calmed storms with a word, but I also felt the sting of betrayal. Through it all, I demonstrated that my purpose was not just to display power, but to restore a relationship shattered by sin. By stepping into your world, I offered a living example of what perfect love looks like in human form. This dual nature, both divine and human, matters immensely for you today. It means I am not only able to save you from the weight of guilt, but also to empathize with every fear and limitation you face. When you pray, you do not address a distant deity who cannot understand the urgency of your needs. Instead, you speak to one who has felt fatigue, who has faced temptation, and who has known the full spectrum of human emotions. Your struggles are not trivial to me. They matter profoundly because I have carried them in my own heart. And because I am also fully divine, I have the power to bring healing, provision, and restoration in ways that surpass human limitation. Let this truth sink deeply into your soul. You have a Savior who is both transcendent and near. The door to intimacy with me is wide open. No part of your experience is hidden from my compassionate gaze. When you are overwhelmed, remember that I know what it feels like to be pressed by the weight of life's demands. When you rejoice, remember that I celebrated at weddings and feasts. When you ache from loss, remember that I stood at the tomb of a friend. When you are tempted, recall that I too was tested in the wilderness. In each of these scenarios I emerged victorious, not merely to showcase my power, but to pave a way for you to find strength in me, As you contemplate my incarnation, let it reshape the way you see yourself and others. If I, the Lord of all creation, have deemed humanity worthy of such profound intimacy, then every person you encounter is also worthy of dignity and respect. Let the knowledge of my shared humanity inspire you to extend kindness, mercy, and patience. See each individual as someone I have chosen to love in ways beyond your understanding. In doing so, you participate in the work I began when I first entered the world in human form, bringing hope, healing, and reconciliation wherever you go. Take these reflections as a reminder of how far I have gone to assure you that you are not alone. This season is more than a commemorative date. It is an invitation into a relationship that finds its source in my divine heart, but also touches your everyday reality. I offer you my presence as both sovereign creator and empathetic companion. I invite you to step closer, to open your heart, and to share your deepest needs without hesitation. Know that I hear you with infinite understanding and answer you with unending love. I came not merely to visit, but to remain with you in every season of life, revealing that my glory is displayed most powerfully when it meets the human heart in its place of need. I see how your heart sometimes wanders, weighed down by questions and uncertainties. In those moments, you might wonder if anyone truly watches over you, or if you are left to navigate life's challenges on your own. Yet I want you to know that I am here, tending to you with the careful devotion of a shepherd who knows each sheep by name. Nothing you face is too insignificant for my attention. When you stumble, I gently lead you back onto safe paths. When you feel lost, I call out, inviting you to recognize my voice above the noise. The shepherd does not abandon the sheep. Likewise, I will never leave you to struggle through dark valleys alone. I understand your need for a constant companion, one who will celebrate your victories and comfort you in your defeats. I am not distant or unreachable. In fact, I draw closer than your closest friend, sharing your triumphs, bearing your burdens, and cheering you on when you feel you cannot take another step. In times of loneliness, remember that I am the one who sees you fully, who delights in your uniqueness, and who walks with you when others turn away. I seek not to overshadow you, but to walk beside you, offering the strength and assurance you need at every turn. When life's storms gather, you might feel as though you are being swept away by the torrents of fear or sorrow. It can be hard to believe you are protected when the winds of hardship blow fiercely. But as your faithful companion, I do not merely stand by, I stand guard. My presence encircles you with a shield of comfort and hope. This does not mean you will never face challenges. Rather, it means no challenge will ever be bigger than my ability to guide you through it. I lead you to still waters and to green pastures, places of refreshment for your weary soul. Lean on me, and let my peace settle your mind when everything around you feels unsteady. Sometimes it may seem that you are undeserving of such devotion. You might recall mistakes you've made, moments when your faith wavered, or your choices caused pain. Yet my commitment as your companion is not based on your perfect performance. It is rooted in my endless love. Like a shepherd who mends the wounds of an injured sheep rather than casting it aside, I tend to you with gentleness and compassion. I do not keep a tally of failures. Instead, I invite you to receive my grace again and again. Let this assurance free you from any shame that would try to keep you distant from me. When you come to me, you will find open arms, not condemnation. I also long to be your friend. Perhaps you have tasted the bittersweet nature of earthly friendships, some that brought you joy, others that caused you hurt. Friendship in this world can feel fragile, subject to misunderstandings and disappointments. Yet I offer a friendship that transcends such limitations. My loyalty is unfailing, my patience unending, and my understanding complete. I know the depths of who you are, even the parts of yourself you struggle to accept. Still, I call you beloved. When you share your heart with me, do so freely, knowing there is nothing too big or too small for my concern. Friendship with me is a two-way communion. You speak, and I listen. I speak, and you discover truths that illuminate your path. Listen closely, and you will hear me guiding you toward healthier choices, toward dreams aligned with my purpose for you, and away from the pitfalls that entangle your heart. My voice carries compassion, not condemnation. I do not force you forward. I invite you. Even if you stray, I remain near, calling you back to the safety of my fold. As you learn to trust my leading, you will find that obedience becomes an act of love, not a burdensome task. It stems from the realization that I desire your wholeness and fulfillment, not the stifling of your spirit. With me at your side, even the most winding roads take on new meaning and hope. When the weight of the world seems too heavy, remember that I once carried the full burden of human suffering. My heart is not hardened to your pain. It resonates with empathy. As you place your cares into my hands, you exchange anxiety for the quiet confidence that I, the Good Shepherd, know exactly how to guide you through the tangle of life's uncertainties. There will be times you do not see the path ahead, yet I see it clearly. There will be moments you doubt your capacity to persevere, yet I know the measure of strength I have placed within you. Together, we can journey through the darkest nights and greet the morning's light with renewed courage. Let these truths settle into the core of your being. I am your shepherd, guiding you away from harm and toward rest. I am your companion, sharing your joys and sorrows in an unbreakable bond. I am your friend, inviting you to open up every corner of your heart without fear of rejection. In every role, my desire remains the same, to lead you into life more abundant than you could imagine on your own. Take hold of my hand as we walk this path together. May you find comfort, strength, and the deep assurance that you are seen, known, and profoundly loved. Every moment, every step, every breath. I invite you to look back in time and imagine a quiet hillside, dimly lit by moonlight and scattered stars. Sheep huddled together for warmth, watched over by shepherds who expect nothing more than another uneventful night. Then suddenly, the sky brightens with a radiance none of them have ever seen. Fear threatens to overwhelm them, yet in the brilliance they hear a glorious message. Hope has entered the world in the form of a child. This breathtaking announcement does not come to royalty or priests in lavish courts, but to humble souls keeping vigil in the fields. Even before that moment, I was orchestrating every step, preparing hearts, aligning circumstances, and making sure that no one who longed for light would remain in darkness. Far from these fields, in a modest shelter, a young couple finds themselves at the center of events that will forever change history. They have traveled long, searching for a place of rest. When every door closes, they must settle in the humblest of accommodations. Yet it is there, in a setting far from the grandeur humans often associate with power, that I choose to reveal my heart most fully. I arrive not with a royal proclamation, but through an infant's cry, reminding the world that I do not need majesty or splendor to accomplish my purposes. In this quiet scene, wrapped in cloths and laid in a manger, I show that my kingdom is built on vulnerability, grace, and profound love. Think of the faith it took for that young mother to surrender her reputation, her fears, and even her body to my plan. She did not know how it would all unfold. She only knew that I had spoken, and she believed my word was trustworthy. Consider also her husband, standing protectively by her side. He faced uncertainty and upheaval in his life, yet he chose to follow my guidance given in dreams and revelations. Through their obedience, they displayed a truth that can still guide you today. Faith is a journey that often starts in the unknown, yet it is held firm by the conviction that I am faithful. Across the countryside, wise men from distant lands sense a celestial sign unlike any other. They see a star so compelling that it calls them away from the familiar comforts of home and sets them on a journey across deserts and treacherous terrain. They do not know precisely where the path leads, only that it beckons them onward. Guided by their yearning for truth, they travel day after day, willing to endure hardships for the sake of beholding what they believe is a divine event. Ultimately, their search leads them to the child, and in that moment, their gifts of gold, incense, and myrrh become symbols of worship, an acknowledgement that true majesty resides not in worldly palaces, but in hearts open to recognizing my presence. All these threads, shepherds, travelers from afar, and an ordinary couple, intertwine in what may appear to be a simple night. Yet that night marks the opening scene of a story unfolding through the ages, inviting every soul to join in this great narrative of redemption. Each person who witnessed that event stepped into a larger story, one where faith triumphed over doubt, and humble hearts were chosen to bear the news that I am nearer to humanity than ever before. The first Christmas was not a spectacle for a privileged few. It was an invitation for all, stretching from the lowliest fields to the far corners of distant lands. I could have chosen a grand arena with crowds cheering, or a throne among the world's rulers, but I wanted to reveal something deeper. My love prefers the unremarkable places, the overlooked people, the hidden corners where sincerity is found. So often you might feel insignificant or unseen, convinced that others are more qualified to play a role in my plans. Yet look at those shepherds, who likely never imagined their story would be recorded throughout generations. Look at the wise men who, despite their knowledge, needed my guidance to find their way. Look at the young mother and her husband, stepping forward in obedience, even while doubts surely knocked at the door of their hearts. In each of them, I planted a seed of faith that grew as they trusted me. The same can be true for you. No matter how ordinary you feel, I can use your life to display my splendor in ways that might surprise you. This night also speaks powerfully of my humility. I came as a baby, dependent on human care, subject to hunger, cold, and vulnerability. No one is too frail for my concern, for I have known frailty myself. No one is too broken for my healing, for I have walked in the midst of brokenness to bring restoration. That manger scene bridges the gap between divinity and humanity, showing you that I comprehend your struggles in a way no distant authority ever could. Even now, as you reflect on this moment of mystery, my invitation remains. Bring me your doubts, fears, and wounds, and watch as I offer strength and solace far beyond human understanding. Through the lens of that holy night, consider the journey of faith you are on. Like the shepherds, you may be called to leave your familiar fields to seek something extraordinary. Like the wise men, your path may be filled with unknown turns, yet a guiding light draws you forward. Like the young mother and her husband, you may face situations that challenge your comfort and require unprecedented trust. Each step you take toward me opens you to miracles unfolding in unexpected places. The essence of this story is not locked in the past. It continually echoes into your present, promising that I am still in the habit of surprising the world with wonder where it's least expected. When you find yourself wrestling with questions or burdens, remember that my entrance into humanity was never intended to be a fleeting chapter. It was the dawn of a new way of living, a life characterized by grace, hope, and renewed relationship with me. I came to break barriers that kept you at a distance, offering a tangible sign that I am deeply invested in the details of your life. My birth was the beginning of a path that would lead to my ultimate act of sacrifice and triumph. But in that initial glimpse, you see my heart laid bare. I desire closeness, not separation. I desire relationship, not mere adherence to ritual. Reflect on how each figure in that night's account responded. The shepherds hastened to see. The wise men journeyed with perseverance. The parents surrendered to a plan much larger than themselves. Their actions reveal a truth worth embracing. When you sense my prompting, move forward without delay. Let worship arise from within you, even when circumstances are less than ideal. Let your offerings of time, talent, or care for those in need be an outpouring of love in response to my arrival. You will find that in giving of yourself, you will be drawn deeper into the mystery of my kingdom, where humble acts blossom into profound testimonies of faith. Let your soul tune in to the chorus of angels echoing across the fields and the resolute footsteps of travelers who followed a star. Let the tender gaze of a mother and the supportive stance of a husband remind you that my plan frequently unfolds through ordinary people with extraordinary trust. And let the child in the manger assure you that I have come close, so close that you no longer need to wonder if I understand what it is to walk this earth. I do understand, and that understanding is woven into every promise I make, every word I speak, and every encouragement I offer. You are seen, you are valued, and you are called to step into this great unfolding drama of my redeeming love. I see a longing within you to connect deeply with what matters most, even if you cannot always name it. This desire draws you toward something greater, a space where you can be fully known, and where all striving melts into peace. In such moments, you reach beyond the surface of everyday life, searching for a profound communion that nothing else seems to satisfy. That yearning is an echo of my voice, gently inviting you to lay aside your burdens and discover the calm center of my presence. Whenever you feel the restlessness of your heart, see it not as a frustration, but as a sign that you are made for something beyond the noise and demands around you. There is immense power in genuine worship. When your soul recognizes who I am, the one who created galaxies yet still cares for the smallest detail of your life, something shifts within you. Worship is far more than an obligation or a ritual. It is a posture of the heart, an honest response to the wonder of my love. When you bow your thoughts and affections before me, you are not diminishing your worth. On the contrary, you are aligning yourself with a truth that brings clarity and peace. I am the source of all you need. In worship, you trade anxiety for reassurance, self-reliance for trust, and isolation for connection. It is a sacred exchange where your limitations meet my endless capacity to hold and carry you. Often you may feel pressure to approach me with polished words or elaborate gestures, as if I measure your devotion by outward displays. Yet I see past the surface to the sincerity of your heart, a whispered prayer in the darkness, a silent tear offered in hope. These can be acts of worship just as profound as any grand song. My desire is that you come to me without pretense, allowing your genuine self to commune with my holy presence. This honesty cultivates intimacy, for true worship is not a performance, but a conversation, a merging of your spirit with mine in quiet gratitude and trust. In the midst of your busy life, you might find it difficult to pause long enough to encounter this stillness of the soul. Demands press in, tasks multiply, and your mind can seem like a crowded marketplace. Yet I call you to find moments of pause, however brief, where you remember that I am near. Take a breath and let my presence overshadow every worry, every plan. When you do this, even the simplest day-to-day activities can become opportunities for worship. Preparing a meal, offering a kind word, or caring for someone in need, Each can be done with a heart that is aware of my closeness. In this way, worship is not confined to a specific place or time. It becomes the undercurrent of your entire life. I also invite you to rest. Rest is not merely ceasing from labor. It is consciously placing your trust in my ability to keep you, provide for you, and direct your steps. Genuine rest allows your heart to settle into the reality of my sovereignty. Rather than attempting to shoulder life's pressures alone, you entrust yourself to my care, believing that I am both willing and able to handle the complexities that overwhelm you. This kind of rest is an act of worship in itself, for it acknowledges that I am in control and that you are safe in my hands. When you lay your worries at my feet, you discover that peace is not just an idea. It becomes your lived experience. Sometimes, you might wonder why you continue to feel weary even when you carve out moments to pray or reflect. One reason might be that you are still holding on to burdens you were never meant to carry. Letting go is often a process. It requires courage to release worries, regrets, and even ambitions that weigh heavily on your soul. But as you open your hands, releasing whatever you have been gripping, you create space to receive what I long to give: renewed strength, clarity, and joy. I do not take pleasure in your exhaustion. My desire is to see you flourish, grounded in the assurance of my unwavering presence. I know how easy it is to slip back into old habits and attempts at self-sufficiency, especially when life feels unpredictable. But when you catch yourself spiraling into anxiety, pause and remember who I am. Recall that I formed you with care, that I know your every concern, and that my plans for you are shaped by perfect wisdom and love. This is where the heart of worship finds its greatest expression, not in a single moment of praise, but in the daily choice to trust me above all else. Each time you choose faith over fear, you worship me with your life. In that trust, you will discover the sweetness of my presence. It is not found in frantic searching, but in quiet surrender. Even if you do not feel an immediate rush of emotion, know that my nearness is not dependent on your senses. I am with you in the ordinary routines, in the laughter shared with a friend, and in the silent tears shed when no one else sees. Sometimes my comfort reaches you through a timely word from someone who cares. Other times, you simply sense a subtle shift in your spirit, a lightness that wasn't there before. These are gentle reminders that I am at work, weaving my grace into every fiber of your reality. Let your heart be stirred by the thought of each breath being a gift. Allow gratitude to rise for the beauty that still exists in the world. Do not underestimate how such a shift in perspective can open your eyes to more of my presence. When you attune yourself to goodness and thankfulness, you posture yourself to recognize that I am the ultimate source of these blessings. Gratitude blossoms into worship, and worship ushers you into rest. In that cycle, your soul finds nourishment and renewal that mere human effort cannot produce. When you gather with others during this special season, let worship flow not only through songs or recited words, but also through genuine acts of love. Extend grace to someone who has offended you, remembering the grace I extend daily to you. Offer patience where impatience would be the easier path. Listen attentively to someone who needs to be heard. With these simple gestures, you honor me in ways that reflect my own heart. True worship is never merely vertical. It reaches outward, drawing others into the circle of my compassion. In this way, your rest in my presence becomes a blessing that moves beyond your personal experience, touching lives you might not even realize. Above all, remember that I am not a distant observer. I am intimately involved with your journey, right here and now. My presence is not locked away in sacred places, but is present in your midst, ready to guide, to comfort, and to call you into deeper fellowship. When the swirl of activity threatens to pull you under, step back for a moment and whisper a simple prayer. Acknowledge that I am with you, and let that acknowledgement shape your attitude, your decisions, and your relationships. In this awareness, you will find a steady rhythm of worship and rest that anchors you amid the shifting seasons of life. Come to me as you are, tired, hopeful, bruised, or joyful, and let every facet of your being participate in this dance of surrender and grace. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need the willingness to trust that I hold the answers you seek. As you practice resting in my presence, you will discover a wellspring of peace that transcends your circumstances. This is the gift I extend to you, a refuge for your soul and a companionship that never ends. In such resting and in such worship, you align yourself with the deepest truth of who I am and who you were created to be. I know the weight that sometimes settles in your heart. Those questions about whether you will have enough, whether you will meet each pressing obligation, whether tomorrow will bring more hardship than relief. Even as Christmas approaches, these concerns can loom large, threatening to eclipse the wonder of the season. But I want you to remember something profound. I see you, and I know exactly what you need. Even before you recognize your own longings, I have already set in motion the means to address them. My provision is not a distant promise, but a tangible reality I long for you to experience. When you find yourself burdened by need, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, let that be your cue to draw nearer to my heart, where infinite resources flow from unending grace. I do not simply provide in some abstract sense, like a distant monarch dispensing help to unknown subjects. I provide as one who intimately understands your story. I formed you, breathed life into you, and have accompanied you through every season. Therefore, I know what truly nourishes your soul and what alleviates your deepest fears. In moments when you question if help will come, recall the very essence of Christmas. I entered your world in humble surroundings, bringing hope where hope had seemed lost. That same heart of compassion continues to beat for you today, ready to meet you in each difficulty and uncertainty. Grace, too, is woven into my provision. It is not something you earn. It is a gift I freely pour out. You may look at your own flaws and think you must somehow prove your worthiness to receive my blessing. But I assure you, I give not based on merit, but on love. That is the nature of grace. It cannot be bought or negotiated, only accepted in humility and gratitude. This is part of the mystery you celebrate during Christmas, the reminder that I willingly entered the human condition, aware of every weakness, yet determined to bridge the gap between holiness and brokenness. My grace is the vehicle by which I deliver the blessings you could never secure by your own efforts. When worries about resources or future outcomes press in, consider how creation itself reflects my abundant nature. The earth teems with life, the sun rises faithfully each morning, and the seasons follow their appointed rhythms. There is nothing haphazard about these patterns. They are living testimonies to my care. Just as I sustain nature through every change, I am fully capable of sustaining you, ensuring that each genuine need is met in my timing. This might not always match your immediate expectations. Sometimes you must wait, and in the waiting, you learn to trust my wisdom more deeply. Other times, provision arrives swiftly and unmistakably, reminding you that my arm is never too short to save. Perhaps you have asked, if your provision is real, why do I still feel such need or encounter such struggle? Know that my ways often serve a higher purpose than immediate comfort. I allow trials not to harm you, but to refine you, drawing you closer to the source of true sustenance, me. In these moments, your eyes are open to how dependent you truly are, and that dependence becomes a sacred doorway through which my power and love can enter more fully. As you see me answer in unexpected ways, your faith deepens, and you begin to trust that I can work good, even in the darkest situations. This season of Christmas offers a unique lens through which to see my provision. The child in the manger was more than an event in history. It was a declaration that I had come to meet humanity's greatest need, restoration to the fullness of life with me. That gift reverberates through each corner of existence, including your personal challenges. I have already given you the ultimate evidence of my desire to provide by stepping into your reality, bearing your burdens, and opening a way to fellowship with me. Every other form of provision is an extension of that same heart. If I was willing to go that far for you, will I not also care for the daily matters that weigh on your mind? Sometimes, my provision appears in subtle, almost hidden forms. Perhaps a friend speaks words of encouragement at just the right time, or a solution surfaces for a problem you've wrestled with for months. Maybe a financial concern finds relief in a small but unexpected blessing. Other times, provision arrives in the form of strength for the day, a capacity to endure difficulties with a renewed spirit. By keeping your eyes open to these small miracles, you cultivate gratitude that enriches your understanding of how thoroughly I watch over you. Rather than fixating on what you lack, you begin to see what you have, and in that perspective shift, you recognize my faithfulness woven into the tapestry of your life. One of the most freeing discoveries you can make is that I never intended you to carry your burdens alone. My grace is not a mere concept, but a force that actively works in your favor. When you come to the end of your own resources, do not view that as failure. See it as the threshold of my abundant supply. That is where you learn reliance on me instead of self. In that reliance, you find freedom from the crippling weight of self-sufficiency. You learn to be content, not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you trust my ability to uphold you in every circumstance. Like a parent who gladly meets the needs of a beloved child, I delight in taking care of you, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is why Christmas remains so relevant each year. It's a standing reminder that my capacity to provide is not distant or theoretical. It's personal, real, and clothed in the vulnerability of human experience. I know what it is to be weary and needy, for I came in the flesh. I also know how to overcome limitations, for I am boundless in power and love. As you meditate on the child in the manger, realize that my provision extends from that manger to your present moment, linking past and future with a promise that I will never abandon you. In turn, I invite you to become a vessel of my provision for others. As you receive my grace, let it overflow to those around you. When you see someone in need, remember how I have met your needs and respond with compassion. Your willingness to be part of my answer to someone else's prayers reflects my own character. The gifts you give, from a simple meal to a heartfelt prayer, become channels of blessing through which my love flows. In this way, my provision multiplies, carrying forward the hope and generosity that lie at the heart of Christmas. As you navigate the final stretch of this season, let every worry about tomorrow be met with the truth that I hold all your tomorrows in my hand. Let each fear of lack encounter my promises of fullness. Quiet your anxious thoughts with the reassurance that I am your unfailing provider. Look for the signs of my care, both great and small, and when you recognize them, let your gratitude rise. This is the interplay of grace and provision. You receive from me, your heart responds in thanksgiving, and the circle of love widens, touching everyone in its path. Rest in the knowledge that my grace covers the areas where you feel weakest or most unprepared. Rest in the certainty that I, who began a good work in you, will carry it through to completion. This is my promise for you, not just for a season, but for all your days. Even as Christmas draws your gaze to the miracle of my birth, let it also renew your faith in the miracle of my ongoing care, which remains steadfast through every season of life. You are my beloved, and I delight in providing what you need, so that you might live in the fullness of my love and share that hope with others. I observe how your heart lifts whenever you catch a glimpse of beauty, kindness, or hope. In those moments, you experience a spark of joy that seems to brighten your entire being. This spark is not accidental. It is the reflection of my own light within you, waiting to shine into every corner of your life. Though circumstances might try to stifle that glow, remember that it cannot be extinguished. You carry a divine radiance designed to illuminate your path and bless others along the way. When you choose to rejoice, truly rejoice, you step into the very essence of what I created you to be, a mirror of my goodness, sharing light in a world that often feels overshadowed by anxiety and doubt. If you look around, you will see that many are searching for reasons to celebrate. They want to hold on to hope, but their hands are full of worries. Let your joy be a beacon for them, a gentle reminder that not all is lost. This isn't a superficial optimism that denies hardship. Rather, it is a deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing you are cherished by the one who shaped the stars and yet holds you in the palm of his hand. The season of Christmas exemplifies this profound truth. I did not remain distant but came close, offering a reason to sing even when circumstances were far from perfect. When you let that wonder resonate in your soul, your perspective shifts, enabling you to see grace woven into the tapestry of everyday life. True rejoicing has the power to transform not only your own heart, but also the atmosphere around you. When you choose gratitude and praise instead of bitterness or complaint, you release an energy that changes the tone of conversations and the attitude of hearts nearby. It's not about denying pain or pretending problems don't exist. It's about inviting my light to overshadow the darkness, so the shadows lose their ability to dominate your thoughts. In every act of rejoicing, you proclaim that hope is still alive. Whether you rejoice loudly with music and dance or quietly through a whispered prayer, know that each expression resonates through the spiritual realm, casting out despair and ushering in a fresh wind of possibility. During Christmas, people often exchange gifts as a sign of affection and generosity. Let your gift be the joy you carry, the light that cannot be hidden. A simple smile, a compassionate gesture, or a kind word can spark a chain reaction of encouragement. Think about how a single candle can brighten a dark room, and then imagine countless candles lit together. That is the power of collective rejoicing, one heart illuminating another until countless souls bask in the warmth of my presence. You do not have to produce this light on your own. Rather, you merely need to reflect the radiance I freely offer. The more you rest in my love, the brighter your testimony becomes. There will be days when rejoicing feels like a challenge. Doubts creep in, disappointments weigh heavy, and you might not sense the warmth you once felt. Yet it is precisely in these moments that joy becomes an act of faith, a decision to trust my goodness beyond what you presently see. This kind of rejoicing does not depend on fleeting emotions, but is anchored in the reality of who I am. Even in trials, even when doors seem closed, I remain with you, speaking courage to your spirit. Lean on that truth and let it uplift your countenance. Joy then emerges, not as a denial of pain, but as a powerful affirmation that sorrow does not have the final word. Consider how your inner state influences the way you interact with others. When you carry heaviness, it's easy to be consumed by your own burdens, missing opportunities to show empathy or kindness. However, when you allow my joy to permeate your heart, your focus shifts outward. You become more attentive to others' needs, more generous with your words and actions. This outward flow of compassion mirrors my own heart for the world, a heart that sees and responds to pain, yet remains steadfast in love. As you let me fill you with my joy, you will find it easier to reach out, to mend broken relationships, and to speak words of healing where strife once reigned. Rejoicing also connects you to your purpose. I placed unique gifts within you, talents, ideas, passions, all intended to reflect my creativity. When you celebrate those gifts instead of doubting or belittling them, you align yourself with my vision for your life. Embrace the parts of you that come alive when you do what you love, whether that is art, caring for others, teaching, or simply being present to listen. By rejoicing in who I've made you to be, you become a vessel through which my light shines. Your enthusiasm becomes a form of worship, an acknowledgement that I formed you with intent and that every aspect of your being can bring me glory. In this season of Christmas, as hearts lean toward reflection and celebration, remember that joy does not have to fade when the festivities end. Each day can be an opportunity to choose rejoicing anew. It might be through a simple thanks for the sunrise or a heartfelt smile offered to someone in need. It could be a quiet moment of praise in solitude or a rousing chorus sung with a group of voices. However it manifests, let it be genuine. Let it spring from the knowledge that you are loved by an everlasting love, guided by a faithful shepherd, and empowered by a spirit who wants to fill your life with wonders you cannot yet imagine. Do not hide it under the worries of the moment or the discouragement of setbacks. Lift it high, confident that even a small flame can pierce the darkest night. As you do, you will discover that joy is not a fragile sentiment. It is a force that can shatter chains of hopelessness and awaken hearts to new possibilities. In every smile, in every word of encouragement, in every act of kindness, you testify to the truth that my light is stronger than any darkness. This is the essence of the Christmas message. My arrival bringing hope to all humanity, and your life reflecting that hope to every corner of the earth. I wrap you in my unending love and remind you of a promise that remains steadfast through every trial. I am with you, and I will never leave you. Throughout each moment of your life, whether calm or stormy, I hold you securely in my capable hands. In this season of Christmas, when hearts are especially tender to the wonder of my coming, I invite you to carry this awareness beyond a single day. Let it accompany you in every breath, every step, and every aspiration. When the lights grow dim and the calendar moves on, remember that my presence shines just as brightly, urging you to keep hope alive and to extend that hope to others. I want you to know that your journey matters deeply to me. No story is too small or too complicated for my attention. I created you with delight, and I delight still in walking beside you, guiding you toward a life of purpose and joy. Just as I did not shy away from entering this world in humble circumstances on that first Christmas, I do not hesitate to step into your daily reality, meeting you in your struggles, comforting you in your sorrow, and rejoicing with you in every victory. My desire is not merely to observe from a distance, but to be intimately involved in every chapter of your story, offering grace at each turn. In this nearness, I encourage you to look for me in the ordinary. When you pause to watch a sunrise or share a meal with loved ones, remember that these moments can be gateways to my presence. When you find yourself laughing freely or shedding tears you didn't expect, realize that I am there, ready to celebrate your joys and soothe your wounds. Let this awareness transform your routine, revealing that nothing is truly mundane when approached with a heart open to my guiding hand. As the season of Christmas draws to its close, refuse to let the wonder fade. Instead, let it settle into your spirit, igniting a deeper recognition of my constant companionship. I also urge you to carry forward the message of love that lies at the core of this celebration. I came to show you the kind of love that transcends all barriers, a love willing to be humbled in birth, to walk among misunderstandings, to serve and restore broken hearts. Allow that same love to shape your perspectives and your actions. When you see someone in need, offer kindness that reflects my mercy. When someone wrongs you, extend forgiveness that mirrors my grace. When fear or uncertainty attempts to choke out compassion, remember that my love casts out fear, illuminating a pathway to courage. With each choice grounded in kindness and grace, you extend the essence of Christmas far beyond its designated season. You might question how to sustain such openness in a world that can be harsh and exhausting. Know that I am not only the majestic king, but also your tender friend. When you feel burdened, come to me. Release your anxieties, your doubts, and your weariness into my care. Just as a trusted friend offers a listening ear, I welcome your most vulnerable thoughts. There is no threshold you must cross to earn my attention. I hear even the quietest whispers of your heart. In that sacred sharing, you will find solace, clarity, and often a renewed sense of resolve to keep moving forward with faith. Though I am Lord over all creation, I never use my power to distance myself from you. On the contrary, I use it to protect, to guide, and to strengthen. When sorrow or temptation tries to pull you away, call upon my name. Lean into the truth that I am both immeasurably strong and infinitely caring. I know your limitations, but I also see the potential I planted within you. My intention is to nurture your gifts, to hone your character, and to lead you into a life enriched by the fruits of love, joy, and peace. Trust that my guidance, while sometimes stretching your comfort, is always aimed at your growth and flourishing. As you move beyond the festivities of Christmas, you will encounter moments where the glow of celebration dims and reality seems less radiant. Troubles may arise, challenges might shake your confidence, and the warmth of the season may feel distant. In those times, remember the child in the manger, born into hardship, welcomed by common shepherds, facing a world in need of redemption. That same child grew into the one who calmed storms, healed diseases, and spoke life into the brokenhearted. My power remains undiminished, and my commitment to you unwavering. Draw upon this truth in every bleak moment. I came not to leave you as orphans, but to walk with you as Emmanuel, God with you always. Let this reminder shape your resolve for the days ahead. When you find yourself overwhelmed, pause to recall that I am near, eager to remind you of your worth and to shed light on your path. When regret weighs upon you, bring it to me. My forgiveness knows no bounds, and I have proven my willingness to bear your burdens time and time again. Let this liberate you from shame, empowering you to move forward without the chains of guilt. My grace is an ever-present invitation to begin anew, no matter how many times you've stumbled. I also call you to stay connected with others who share this journey of faith. Though personal devotion is vital, you are not created to walk the road of life in isolation. Seek fellowship, whether in your family, among friends, or within a community of believers who can nurture, challenge, and support you. Share the joys and struggles of living out the Christmas message day by day. In doing so, you reflect the unity and harmony I desire for humankind. Remember, the beauty of a single candle may be bright, but the combined glow of many candles dispels darkness far more effectively. Now, receive my blessing. May your heart be cradled in the knowledge that my love surrounds you, not just during Christmas, but through every sunrise and sunset of your life. May your spirit find rest in my promise that I am unchanging, an anchor in every storm. May your mind be illuminated by my wisdom, guiding your choices and infusing your words with compassion. May your relationships be graced with patience and understanding, growing ever richer in the bond of selfless love. Above all, may you walk forward with the unshakable conviction that I, the Sovereign One who calls each star by name, am also your dearest friend, ever close, ever caring, ever eager to lead you into deeper joy. Carry these truths with you, letting them shape how you see yourself, how you treat others, and how you respond to life's uncertainties. Let them remind you that you are never alone, never forgotten, never unloved. As you continue this journey, I remain right beside you, whispering hope into your quiet moments and upholding you when shadows threaten to overtake you. This is my commitment to you, sealed by a love that predates time and extends beyond its boundaries. Let your soul find rest in that certainty, and let your eyes look forward with hope. For this journey, dear one, is not meant to end with a season. It is meant to unfold day after day, with each footstep guided by my unwavering presence and abounding grace. Amen.